Imagine waking up tomorrow and you own a business generating more than $10,000 per month. Now, how would that change your life? I want you to think about that a little bit. What would that get you? Would you have more time? Would you have more freedom and flexibility? Well, this isn't too far out of the truth. And today in this video, I'm going to show you how you can buy an online business for $0 down, meaning you don't have to put any of your capital in, and you're going to get creative with these ways. But in this video, I'll show you the 5 main ways you can buy a business for $0 down. So I know you're thinking that this sounds too good to be true. Well, buckle up, because today I'm unveiling the roadmap to acquiring an online business with absolutely no money down. And you're gonna wanna keep your eyes peeled, because I've got a really cool free gift coming later in the video. And I'm gonna share the details when you least expect it. But hey, I hear you thinking, Mike, what's the catch? What do I have to do? How can I just get free money? There's gotta be some catches here. And of course there is. And I'll go in and show you the details on each one of these ways you can buy an online business with $0 down. And I'll talk about the catches, the pros and the cons for each one of them. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dig right in. One of the best ways to buy a business for $0 down is to get your friends and family involved. Now, I know a lot of people out there don't like to mix friends and family with business, but it can sometimes be the best and easiest way to buy a business for $0 down. And there's 2 different ways you can structure this. You can structure it as an interest loan. So you're getting X amount of money for X amount of interest, and that interest is essentially going to be paid off with the profits of the business. This is typically the best and simplest way to go ahead and get structured. It's a win-win for everyone, because your family is going to get an interest rate of 5 to 10% on their loan, and then you're going to go ahead and get the money to actually go ahead and do the acquisition. Now, this is the best potential way to go ahead and buy a business for $0 down. The other option is that some family members aren't going to be interested in just loaning you money. They are going to want equity in the business and equity in the profit. So if you have 2 or 3 family members, you can each give them around 25%, and then you can take 25% of just running and managing the business. So that way they put in the money, they get 25% of the profits and revenue of the business, and then you also get a good chunk just for going ahead and putting everything together. Now, those are the 2 best options, but what are the risks with family and friends raising? The biggest risk I see is that things go wrong in any type of financial situation. There's an element or a percentage of risk factor. In the online business space, and a lot of times what I've seen is that can be fairly rare, but there's always a chance. It's never gonna be 0% risk. It's gonna be a variance from 1% to 5% to 10%, right? And so what you need to do is you need to figure out and be very transparent about saying, hey, you shouldn't be investing money that's going to be losing sleep overnight. You shouldn't be investing money that is your savings, your retirement, anything like that. Everyone who's invested in the deal should know the risk that, hey, this can go to 0, things can fall apart, but we're gonna do our best case, and be very transparent about that. Get people to sign documents, understanding and acknowledging that this investment does have the potential to go to 0. With that in mind, I think if you're transparent, you set the expectations, you can go ahead and actually deliver a really great opportunity for friends and family. Moving on to the next one is the sweat equity raise. Now, what is sweat equity? That's essentially where you're managing and running the business, and you're able to go ahead and be the operator. When you're the operator of the business, you're typically going to get some percentage of the business. But if you're bringing the deal to people, if you're raising the capital, if you're doing a lot more in the deal and online business, you can dictate a percentage and a position where you put $0 in. And essentially what you're going to be doing is working and managing the business and operating it to scale this business. For example, you could raise $200,000 from 2 or 3 people, and then your percentage is going to be about 20 or 25% just for operating the business. You don't have to put any money in the game. You don't have to take as big of a risk, because you're going to be getting that sweat equity in the business. Now, this is going to be a little bit difficult if you don't have any experience, and that's kind of the catch. You need to have either 1, experience in buying and scaling businesses, or 2, growing your own business from 0 to where it's at now. Typically, the type of person that this is going to be best suited for is going to be somebody who has experience with with paid advertisements, has done some type of marketing growth channels through digital marketing, or they just have a skill set with all around marketing of growing a business in general. If you don't have this experience, it's going to be really hard to get people to give you their money. As we get lower on the list, a few other ways to buy a business for $0 down is with a personal loan. This is not something that I would really recommend for most people, but in the right person, in the right situation, it might make sense. Again, this list kind of starts off with my favorites, and then it slowly goes down to things that I personally would not steer people to unless they're a really good fit for this. A personal loan versus a business loan is going to be a little bit different. Typically with a personal loan, they're going to want 14 to 20% APY. So you're going to get X amount of money, and on that business loan, you're going to have to pay it back over the next year. The downsides with most personal loans, from what I've seen, is usually they're just a little too small. They require a little too much, and the turnaround time is a little bit lower. So for most businesses to get your return on investment, you need 2 or 3 years unless you have a really specific growth strategy. So your personal loan could be due in, let's say, 12 or 24 months. By that time, it might be a little bit hard for the business to really catch up and pay that off. Now, if you have other income and other sources of revenue, again, it can be a really good situation for those types of people. But again, this is really going to come down to is, what are the risk factors with a personal loan? Now, some companies, usually it's just going to be your credit on the line. If you don't pay it back, it can really hurt your credit score. They're going to come after you for interest rates. They're going to come after you for interest payments. If you miss any payments, there can be some heavy fees. Usually there's not any big collateral involved with personal loans, but it's really going to vary for each company. Again, this is a great option depending on if you can find a really good personal loan. If you have good credit, you have good disposable income, it might be a great option for you. Moving on to the next one is one of my favorite ways to get a great deal, and that's through seller financing. Essentially, seller financing is getting the seller to finance the deal with 0% interest. Now, typically this isn't going to be 100% upfront, but you can find some really motivated sellers. Now, typically a motivated seller is just ready to get out of their business. Maybe they need to buy a house, they had a medical emergency, they're getting divorced. There's a number of reasons why people are motivated to sell their business. And if you can find the right person, sometimes they'll sell you their business for $0 upfront. It's very rare though in most online business acquisitions. Typically, for seller financing, you need to have 60% of the capital up front. And what you can do is you can do a friends and family raise to get that, and a combination of seller financing. So you can blend some of these options together. Typically with seller financing, they might do something like this, where for a $500,000 business, maybe you have to put up $300,000 in capital, but that other $200,000 would be split over a 2-year period, meaning every month you can take a percentage of the business profit, pay it to the seller, and then you keep whatever's left over. This is the typical structure that I see for seller financing, and it's one of the most powerful and most impactful ways to buy a business without putting so much cash and capital up front. Another way to buy an online business with $0 down is through SBA financing. Now, the SBA is the Small Business Association, and essentially they're structured more for buying offline businesses, but occasionally you can buy an online business. I've seen people get approved for SBA loans for $5 to $10 million. They have their collateral of their house or different properties online. So they're usually going to require some collateral, some sort of proof of previous income and cash flow, and they're going to require a little bit more in-depth things to get approved for an SBA loan compared to anything on this list. The reason that I don't typically recommend SBA financing is because they take collateral, there's a lot of risk on the line, it's very slow. Once you get approved to actually getting a deal done, it can take quite a while, and there's a high rejection rate. The reason and the things that I see a lot is you get approved for the loan, you go out and find a deal, you try to get through this deal done with the SBA, and it gets rejected. This wastes your time, it wastes the seller time, and it wastes everyone's time that's involved in this deal. And essentially what happens is most people are just kind of turned off by the process. So with SBA financing, again, it is possible to get done, but it's my least favorite method on this list. The ones above are usually going to be a lot better. So take that in mind when you're considering how to buy a business for $0 down. Did you know that more than 95% of startup businesses fail? within the first few years. Now, what if you could go ahead and just buy that other 5% of businesses that have been around for 5 to 10 years? They're already successful, they have product market fit, and they're already from day one generating profit. Now, this sounds really good and maybe too good to be true. But basically, this is what I've been doing for the past decade, is buying and selling online businesses, and I've helped buy and sell more than $120 million worth of these online assets. Essentially, the way an online business works is it's generating anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000 per month in profit, and there's sellers out there looking to exit these businesses to invest in other projects. And so, hey, I've been there. I want to help you out, and basically I'm here to guide you. If you're intrigued at all, hang tight because I'm about to share with you how you can dive a little bit deeper. Introducing my free ebook, available right now at globalcareerbook.com/buyer. Inside, you'll discover the hottest business models right for acquisition, critical factors for making your purchase, and my personal journey through $120 million in business deals, financing hacks, due diligence essentials, and a treasure trove of other details. And the best part, everyone who reads the entire ebook is eligible to apply for a free consulting call with me. Now, with this journey, there's more to it than just financial freedom. It's about crafting a life that blends passion with purpose, where your work fuels your wanderlust and your successes are shared milestones with the community that grows with you. Essentially, if you want to take the fastest path to making $10,000 a month from your laptop, acquisition entrepreneurship is going to be the best technique out there, where you're going to have the lowest risk and the highest chances of success. So without further ado, I'll leave the link below where you can get access to this free ebook and learn more about how everything works. And again, if you like the ebook, if you like what you see, make sure to take action, because every week I'm giving out one free consulting call. And these consulting calls usually cost around $2,000 per hour, but I want to connect with people who are a good fit and somebody that sees potential in buying an online business. Your next chapter begins now. Visit globalcareerbook.com/buyer to claim your free guide to unlocking the door to your future. Because tomorrow, that $10,000 a month business could be yours. Dream big, act boldly, and remember the world is your office. Until next time, keep paving your path to freedom. And if you like this video, I'm going to leave 2 videos here that are going to be a great fit for you to watch to learn more about buying online businesses and starting your own journey.